Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something I think a lot of us have
Yeah,
experienced.
yeah.
Yeah, that weird little world of passive aggressive post it notes you find in the office. You know, those tiny, colorful squares?
Ah, the silent battleground. Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny how much tension can fit on a 3 by 3 inch piece of paper, isn't it?
It really is. And we've actually got some interesting material here looking at passive aggressive post its, office warfare in color.
Sounds like required reading for office survival.
Maybe. So, our mission today is basically to decode these things, figure out what's really being said.
And maybe, just maybe, figure out how to deal with them without starting an all-out post-it war.
Exactly. By the end of this, you should be able to spot them, understand the hidden message, and know how to respond effectively. Hopefully, without escalating things.
Okay, so where do we start? This source breaks it down into levels, right?
Yeah, 5 levels of posted aggression. Level 1 is apparently the most common. Fake nice.
Right, fake nice.
Yeah.
This is where they sort of sugarcoat the criticism. Lots of politeness, maybe a smiley face, but the intention is different.
Totally. It's that forced cheerfulness. The source gives a classic example. Just a friendly reminder to clean the microwave.
Ah, yes.
Uh,
The tea that somehow feels less like friendly and more like grit teeth.
exactly. And the source translates that friendly reminder.
Let me guess. Something like clean it or else.
Pretty close. It says the implied meaning is I will end you. A bit dramatic, maybe, but it captures that feeling, right?
It really does. That gap between the surface message and the underlying frustration is where the passive aggression lives. It's designed to make you feel obligated but also slightly attacked.
Definitely. Okay, so that's level 1. What's level 2?
Level 2 is weaponized smileys. So taking that smiley face we just talked about and making it even more pointed.
Weaponized smileys. I like that. How does that work? Is it just the smiley again?
Well, it's often a different kind of smiley or maybe used in a context that makes it feel knowing,
Yeah.
almost sarcastic.
Okay, give me an example.
The source uses, please stop eating my yogurt. See that wink?
Ah, the winky face. Yeah, that feels different. Less friendly reminder, more accusatory.
Exactly. The wink changes everything. It implies, like the source says, I have evidence.
Ooh, creepy. Suddenly your yogurt habits are under surveillance. It adds this layer of like psychological gamesmanship.
It does. It's not just a request anymore. It's a subtle accusation letting you know they know.
Okay, that's definitely an escalation. What's level 3?
Level 3. Font crimes. Now we're moving beyond just the words and emoticons.
Font crimes, like using Comic Sans for a demand.
Huh. Maybe. But here it's more about formatting for emphasis.
Mm.
Bold text, italics, maybe even all caps.
Right, where the look of the note itself screams annoyance.
Precisely. The example is, please stop breathing so loud, thanks.
Ah, wow. The bolding, the italics on breathing and thanks. It's like they're yelling silently.
It is. It's passive because it's written, not spoken. But the visual cues are aggressive. It's trying to convey strong emotion without a direct confrontation.
But why do that? Why not just, talk to the person?
Good question. Avoidance, maybe. Fear of conflict. Or perhaps it just feels safer to leave an angry-looking note than to have an awkward conversation. Plausible deniability, sort of. I just
Well,
wanted to make sure you saw it.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, onwards. Level 4.
Level 4. The we gaslight. This one is particularly insidious, I think.
The we gaslight. Okay, unpack that. How does we become gaslighting?
Well, it's about using we when the issue is clearly about you, the recipient. It spreads the blame, makes it sound like a general problem, but it's really directed at one person.
Ah, okay. So it avoids a direct accusation, like the example, we should really keep the fridge clean. Wink.
Exactly. The we suggests shared responsibility, but the wink, again, or just the context, usually makes it clear who the real target is.
And the implied meaning.
According to the source, you are a slob.
Ouch. Yeah, that use of we is definitely a way to make someone feel vaguely guilty without actually saying you did this. It makes you second guess yourself.
That's the gaslighting element. Is it me? Is it someone else? It creates unease.
Okay, makes sense. And that brings us to the final level, level 5.
Level 5. The no-note note. The ultimate mind game.
Wait, a no-note note? So just a blank post-it.
Exactly. Just a blank post-it left conspicuously on your desk or your stuff.
That's weirdly menacing. What's the message there?
Pure implication. The source interprets it as, you know what you did.
Whoa, that's heavy. Why is that so effective? Just an empty piece of paper.
Because it forces you to do all the work. Your mind races. What did I do? Who's mad at me? It leverages your own guilt or anxiety against you.
It's pure psychological pressure without saying a single word. That's kind of brilliant, actually.
In a sinister way, yes.
Yeah.
And that listener story the source shared really nailed it, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, the pen story. Found a note saying, someone took my pen. Hope they enjoy it. It was my pen. That combination of vagueness, accusation, and fake politeness. Chef's kiss of passive aggression.
It really highlights how these small things can escalate. Which brings us to the next logical question. How do you respond to this stuff?
Right. Because just leaving your own angry post, it probably isn't the best move. Thankfully, the source has some, let's say, creative response tactics.
I'm intrigued. Do tell.
First step, the overly literal defense.
Okay, overly literal. How does that work?
You basically take their vague, polite note completely at face value and respond with excessive, almost obtuse literalness.
So you ignore the hidden meaning entirely.
Pretty much. So if you get that clean in the fridge, note, the suggested response is something like, which part? Shelves, door seals, vegetable crisper, let me know. Done.
Oh, I love it. You're using their own smiley against them, but with pointed questions.
Yeah.
It forces them to be specific if they actually want something done.
Exactly. It highlights the absurdity of their vagueness.
Yeah.
Okay, next tactic. The fake innocence play.
Playing dumb, essentially.
Totally. Feigning complete ignorance about the implied meaning or target.
So for the "we need to be tidier" note.
You respond with wide-eyed innocence. Oh. Who's we? Are we talking about a specific area? Let me know who's involved there. Oh.
Using the eye emojis too. Nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
What's the goal there? It puts the ball back in their court. They're trying to be indirect, and you're forcing them to either clarify and be direct, which they probably wanted to avoid, or just drop it. It kind of deflates the passive aggression.
Clever. Okay, and then there's the, nuclear option. Sounds serious.
The source definitely says use sparingly. So yeah, this is for when you want to make a statement.
What does it involve? More notes.
Oh, yes. It's about directly calling out the passive aggression, often by attaching their note to yours.
Attaching it. How?
Yeah, the example is if someone leaves you a note like, per my last note, implying you ignored their previous post-it.
Yeah.
You take their original note, stick it onto a bigger post-it, maybe add your own comment, and leave it back for them. It's a power move, a visual escalation.
A bigger post. That's hilariously petty. And then there was that pro tip in the source.
Ah, yes, the agent of chaos tip. Always sign passive-aggressive notes. Management for maximum chaos.
Definitely don't do that unless you're prepared for the fallout.
Agreed. Handle with extreme caution. But it does make you think about the ripple effects, doesn't it? And also how this might vary culturally.
That's a really interesting angle. I hadn't even thought about that. Does a winky face mean the same thing everywhere?
Probably not. And the source gives some examples. In the U.S., apparently, something like "please refrain from" can feel quite formal and almost like a legal warning.
Like, stop or I'll sue. Wow.
That's the interpretation given, yeah.
Oh.
It suggests a culture where conflict might escalate more formally.
Okay, what about other places? Like the UK?
Ah, British understatement strikes again. The source suggests, might I suggest, is often not a suggestion at all.
What is it then?
It's basically, this is a demand. That polite phrasing can mask a very firm expectation.
Fascinating. And, Australia?
Apparently it's a bit more direct down under. Yeah, nah, not cool, mate.
Okay, sounds pretty clear. What's the hidden meaning there?
According to the source, it translates roughly to, I will fight you.
Whoa. Okay, good to know. Avoid saying not cool to an Australian colleague, maybe.
It certainly highlights how much cultural context matters in interpreting these things. And speaking of tactics, there was that listener hack, too.
Oh, right, the counterintuitive one. Not fighting fire with fire, but with sweetness.
Exactly. Countering passive notes with overly sincere ones. The example was brilliant. Your yogurt stealing changed me. Thank you.
Huh. What does that even accomplish, besides confusing the yogurt thief?
It kind of short-circuits the aggression.
Yeah, right.
You're refusing to play their game. Instead of getting defensive or angry, you respond with this exaggerated, almost surreal positivity. It can be incredibly disarming, might even make them feel a bit silly.
Okay, I can see that. Right, so now we've got the levels, the responses, the cultural notes. Time to put our listeners to work.
Uh-oh. Homework.
Let's call it field work. A listener challenge. Post-it spy. Ready for your mission.
Let's hear it.
Challenge 1. Spot one passive note. Just find one example in your own environment. Maybe it is that person using your mug. Observe the technique.
Okay, observation first. Got
It's
it.
challenge 2. Respond without violence. Try one of the tactics. Maybe add your own note using the we gaslight technique, nice and friendly like, we should talk. Put it on their note or the item in question.
Ooh, turning the tables with level 4 tactics. Bold.
And challenge 3, if you dare, deploy fake sincerity. If they respond, or even if they don't, try leaving that overly sincere note, like, your note inspired me, here's a poem about shared responsibility.
A poem. That's taking it to another level.
Go wild, but remember the cautionary tale from the source?
Ah, yes. The person who left our fridge on their lunch.
Yeah, and ended up with our divorce papers. Apparently it escalated, #office Cold War, so, fire responsibly.
Wise words. Use your newfound Post-it knowledge for good, or at least for manageable levels of office chaos.
Exactly. So, to wrap things up, we've journeyed deep into the surprisingly complex world of passive-aggressive Post-its.
We've decoded the 5 levels, from fake nice all the way to the terrifying blank note.
And we've armed you with some, let's say, unconventional countermeasures, the overly literal, the fake innocent, maybe even the nuclear option, if you're feeling brave.
Plus, that crucial reminder that culture plays a big role in how these messages land.
So you're now officially equipped to navigate the sticky side of office communication. You can spot the subtext, understand the tactics.
But maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. While it's useful, even fun, to understand these dynamics,
Yeah.
is engaging in these Post-it battles really the goal? Does winning the note war actually help your career or relationships at work in the long run?
That's a really good question. What other ways could we handle these little conflicts? Maybe. Talking directly.
Radical, I know.
Yeah.
But perhaps something to consider before you reach for that next Post-it pad.